Yeah, so welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. This is an interview with the CMO of LossLess, Monika Poskute. Today we will talk about her background, LossLess as a protocol, the roadmap, the future, and really dive deep into that. And then finally we will kind of like stop a little bit with her vision of the blockchain industry and where that's going in 5 to 10 years. So yeah, let's kick it off. Could you maybe share something about yourself, your background, why you got into the crypto industry, why you're so excited about it, and your ambitions?
Sure. So yeah, hi everybody. My name is Monika. I am the CMO of LossLess, and I started my journey with blockchain back in 2017. I was working with the IT sector here in my country, Lithuania. And in that year, I basically heard a new term and I didn't really grasp it back then. Various company heads, they started like explaining what this technology means. And by then we already understood how many opportunities blockchain can bring. And then last year, I received an opportunity to join a project here in crypto and lead their marketing. And basically that's the moment. So last year's beginning of summer, I stepped into crypto full, like hands-on, and that's how my entire journey started here. So I've been in love and pretty long in tech already, but now I found my niche here in marketing in crypto, and didn't feel like falling out of it ever since. Like the best decision I have ever done.
Great, exciting. Wow, and how did you get in touch with LossLess? And like what really attracted you about the project?
I actually been a fangirl of LossLess way before I've actually even became their CMO. I mean, I always love and everywhere, not just crypto, but in life itself. I really love those guys and girls that go against the movement or do something only a few can do, and they like do this revolution. So LossLess was always this project for me that is tapping into one of the biggest problems of DeFi, so security. And they were basically the only ones doing something. Yes, we have more projects tackling the issue from different angles, but LossLess was the only one actually providing a solution. So I was like already rooting for them way back. And then it so happened that because of our joint network, I received like this invitation, an offer that maybe I'd like to think about becoming their CMO. And I'm like, heck yes, of course. And we immediately got in touch with the CEO, just quickly talked about responsibilities and what the expectations are there. Everything was like match made in heaven, and here I am.
Wow, sounds great. Indeed, like a match made in heaven. That's amazing. Yeah, so yeah, like what you said earlier is really, really spot on. It's like, there are not a lot of protocols really focusing on security. And then as far as I found, there's only really one focusing on hack mitigation. The majority of protocols are kind of more focusing on prevention in the first place, but this is really like once there's a hack, a solution to really, prevent the hack. So yeah, I think by now, let's, could you share a little bit about LossLess itself, like what it does, how it works, maybe the history of it?
Of course. So LossLess journey started last year. In the beginning of last year, the idea and the team to make it happen was formed. But the token itself launched on 3rd of July. And that's how the market journey has begun for LossLess. What we are basically is we are the first DeFi hack mitigation tool for token creators. What it means is that projects can integrate our small piece of code into their smart contracts, which then gives us the power to overview their transactions and spot hacks if such are happening. And in such a case, a network of white hat hackers and their bots, if they spot a hack or some suspicious transaction, what they can do is they can report it, and that report makes the transaction frozen. So that code integration of ours, as we call it, core protocol, it gives us the power to view the transactions, spot the hacks, freeze those transactions, and then a decision-making body investigates. And if that hack is proved that it's an actual hack, it's not a mistake, money is reverted back to the owner. And if not, if it's proven that it was actually just a transaction, nothing suspicious, it just goes through as it was supposed to. So that's our mission and what LossLess is all about.
Great, sounds great. Like how are those like how are those tools created that actually recognize the hack? So is it like community led, or is it all by the lossless protocol?
Our protocol basically just gives the power to spot hacks. So basically, it's like you could say that you put a layer of glass on top of all those transactions that we can view, and it's like a certain layer of transparency. But the power of spotting the hacks and freezing them lies with the community. So what it means is that we are expanding our white hat hacker network. So those are the people, the good guys of hacking, who help various projects return funds. And basically what we're creating right now is a tool for them to even do it pre-hack. Not after the hack has already happened and the money has been stolen, but we're giving them a tool to prevent a hack from happening in the first place. So it's them, the guys that can spot them. They just see that something suspicious is happening, and they have the power to report it. But as well, we will allow this bot technology to enter as well into our core protocol dashboard, so that it wouldn't be just 100% manual, but we would have automation in place as well. So it's more like a permissionless tool for the community to use and to clean up DeFi, if I could say so.
Exactly. Well, great. So basically, lossless is really like the infrastructure layer, and then anyone can basically build on top of that to create those tools that would actually spot those hacks, and then use like the lossless infrastructure to prevent the hack from the first place, or if the hack already happened, to actually freeze it. And then let's say that the wallet is frozen. Like, what happens after? Like, how is the decision made to let the transaction go through, or to reverse the transaction?
Yeah, so basically the hack spotting process is a two-way process. So one is spotting them and freezing the transaction, and the second is our decision-making body comes into effect. The decision-making body is comprised out of 3 players. So one is, of course, the token creators team itself, so the token that was affected. Then the lossless team also joins in, so our basically tech team who has the knowledge and the power to investigate hacks. And we also have the so-called committee, which is comprised out of, let's say, third-party specialists, so like auditors or law enforcement people, people who are law representatives and have the knowledge of how DeFi works as well. Together, these 3 parties, they do an investigation of the reported transaction, and if 2 out of 3, or maybe 3 out of 3, they say that, yeah, this is a hack, this is definitely a hack, they basically release this decision, and that hack is being reverted. So all the money goes back to the actual original owner. But if the decision-making body says that, no, this was actually a good transaction, somebody just made a mistake, overviewed something, and that's it, then the transaction is unfrozen and it just goes through as it was supposed to.
All right, sounds good. And are you also considering actually the person who sent the transaction? So let's say the wallet who sent the transaction, like, is it also possible for them to, approach you and say like, hey, this was like a legitimate transaction, or this was a hack, and kind of give like that input to the decision-making body?
We actually had a discussion about this. I had a question just recently about this on our Discord AMA. A community member also asked, what if a mistake happened and it just a person mistakenly reported the wrong transaction or something, and etc. For now, what I can definitely tell you is that we're like I said in Discord as well, we're all human. So there definitely can be mistakes made. And since we have this flexibility of not everything to be automated, so of course, if somebody reaches out to us and tells that this was a legit transaction, it was made by me, I have proof and everything in DeFi is about proof. So if that person can prove to us that it was legit, this is not supposed to be frozen, of course we can talk about it and we can just make adjustments and unfreeze the transaction if it was an actual transaction. But what the problem with DeFi is that there is no tools in place which would allow such stopping of suspicious transactions in the first place. So we are giving the opportunity to use this power to stop hacks from happening. And in case it's not a hack, we also have measures to revert these decisions or just hear out all the parties and understand that, okay, this was actually a real deal. So it's nothing suspicious, just maybe a huge sum of money and that's it. So we're all human here.
Yeah. And do you really prioritize like big sums of money? Because maybe for smaller people with smaller wallet amounts, they could also be hacked. Like, are those also included in the tools, or is it really up to the people who actually build like the kind of like the bots that track those transactions?
It's actually nothing to do with the sum of money. I just dropped this as an example where it immediately stands out. I mean, we definitely know that hacks can be like made sequential, and we see multiple transactions in the same sums of money, or just minimal transactions as well. So there are like multiple ways to do this. But basically, we leave it to the White Hat Hacker Network to decide and to report with their bots if they see anything suspicious. So how they report, what type of transactions they report is up to them or to the community members who also want to take part in this. So that's why I said that it's permissionless, basically.
Yeah. Great. Wow. Yeah, this is really cool. So basically anybody can just build their own bot strategy, right? Which really leads to just tremendous innovation because it's really an open platform. So great, exciting.
And so we're hoping that once we launch core protocol this quarter, that it's going to be like massive adoption. So it doesn't mean that just the projects who are implementing the core protocol into their tokens will be like there's going to be an instant security upgrade, like somebody just pressed an on switch and they have this new layer of security on them. But it's also about White Hat hackers learning that there's this technology which you can use, you can improve it, and you can be part of it. So that it's like we're just creating, like you said, infrastructure for people to take power and to make certain actions based on what they see through our created tool.
Great. And is your vision for the protocol also to become like eventually like a fully DAO, or do you kind of always want to keep some centralized control to make sure you can keep publishing and releasing new versions quickly?
For now, how the protocol is formed and modeled, it's this way. So the decision-making body is part of unfortunately, centralization, because somebody has to make a decision, somebody has to come in and investigate. However, you can never know what the future holds. Maybe we will introduce different mechanics into how core protocol can work. Maybe it's going to be like V2 or something, but let's just keep that for the future. Not sure yet. We're currently focused fully on core protocol's launch and for it to just go smoothly.
Yeah. Great. Sounds good. And could you maybe also give some more insight, like in the team, the background of the team?
Sure. Yeah, so currently we have our CEO Vygandas, who used to work for Moneta and for a few exchanges, BTC exchange, if I'm not mistaken. He has extensive know-how of crypto, and he's very knowledgeable, a superb leader. You really would like, once you read various management books about how a leader is supposed to be, that's the guy. That's the guy that you want to follow, that you want to work for. So Vegan, this is a visionary for us. We have our CTO Domantas, who used to work for Syntropy. He has extensive know-how of smart contracts in their development, and currently is the head behind our core protocols launch. We also have 3 more developers in his tech team leading all of our tools forward, vault protection and token minter included. We have our CBDO Dominika, who's doing an awesome job and forming all those partnerships for us. That's where all those partnerships weekly are coming from. So that's Dominika, that's the guy. There's me as the CMO. We also have Matas, who is our Chief Operation Officer, so managing everything about LossLess for us to have everything that is necessary for our work to go smoothly. So that's currently the team members that we have. One way or another, all of us have a certain crypto experience, either in multiple projects, or like me, I used to work for a project in crypto, but way before back then, I had extensive marketing experience as well. So it's like everything just got combined. So that's basically the story behind each and every one of us.
Great. Sounds great. And are you also fully remote, or because I think the majority of you are from Lithuania? So do you also have like a physical office, or?
Yeah, we actually have a new office now.
Great.
Nice. Yeah, we're making it like LossLess branded and everything. So it's like a new step into our project. But yes, the core team is basically sitting here in Lithuania, all of us. As for our tech people, all 3 of them are working remotely, but that doesn't harm at all how efficiently we do things. Like it's I can't explain it, but it's like smooth, like butter.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's great to have a hybrid model. You know, sometimes it's also just great to see each other and like work face to face.
Yeah.
And then also to have a team remote. Yeah, because Lithuania is quite a crypto hub. I think, right? There's a lot of crypto people and people excited about crypto.
I actually can't explain it, but Chris Zaknoon, also DAO Maker CEO, asked me this. How come Lithuania just like popped out so much in crypto recently? But yes, most of the projects that have been launching one by one, they're mostly, if not the entire team, at least the core of it, the idea of the founders, they're from Lithuania. I mean, we have so many of them. We have Codified, we have D-Race, we have us, LossLess. We have this new project coming in, Basketballverse as well. So many new projects coming in. I can only say that Lithuanians are very tech-savvy nation. We are very fast to adapt. So once new opportunities rise and we see that they can like really bring us forward and do it fast, we're like super speedy to grasp it. That's the only reason how I can explain this. Otherwise, it's just that we know how to use this technology and we're creative people. We have lots of ideas how to use it. So
exactly.
It's not surprising me anymore, that much at least.
Great. Yeah, because maybe this is just me, but is it so that Lithuania is also doing direct voting already online, or was that a different country? Yeah, so basically just like voting, like voting in an app instead of going to the like a post office.
You mean voting for the government and then various institutions, and not in our country yet. It's very highly debated here in Lithuania. It's Estonia you're talking about. But like we have these 3 Baltic states: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And Estonia is usually the one who does all the technologically forward decisions first. And currently in our country, we have this decision of how voting should happen, if it would be online. But for now, not yet, not operational here.
Okay. But at least you're talking about it, right? Like here, it's still far away off.
Well, it's basically the future. You can't avoid it. So one way or the other, they will have to somehow find a way to adjust the system so that it would be secure. Again, we're talking about security here. So naturally, they will have to find a recipe for that too.
Exactly. Great. Like, can you maybe speak a little bit about the growth of the platform? You know, some of your partners. Like, if you couldn't name any numbers, that would be great.
So currently we have around 20 projects that have integrated our code already. We have an entire, we call it lossless ecosystem, basically dividing it into 4 categories, like projects who are already lossless protected, so have our code in their tokens. We have NFT based projects there as well. We have partners who help us with security, like Hacken, for example, and plenty more. The ecosystem is expanding weekly, on a weekly basis. More of those projects are in the pipeline, but just to name a few of the biggest achievements that we've had so far is, of course, we've partnered up with the Paid Network and Event Finance. We've relaunched the token of Vulcan Forged as well, the first to relaunch the token with our protocol inside. We have various DeFi projects from the GameFi space, like Cornucopia's game or Engines of Fury that we've just introduced as well. So it's like, what I'm happy to know and to hear is that projects are finally talking about cybersecurity prior to it even like becoming part of their like daily life or something. By that I mean that they don't really even satisfy the idea of a hack happening, because how it used to be, and well, on the majority side it still is, projects don't really think about cybersecurity or about being placing some tools for hack prevention. Is it it's not going to happen to us, no. And then when it happens, it's already like it's too late, and everybody thinks about security post hack, well the majority at least. So I'm happy to see that more and more projects are coming in and talking with us how they could become more secure. We're also reaching out to plenty of projects that we see publicly that have experienced the hack, and we always offer a hand of help if any assistance is necessary. So that is just what I'm trying to say, is that ecosystem that we have is just going to expand even more, that I can assure you. For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, you know, like as soon as it really, as you say, starts accelerating and really starts growing, then it becomes from a nice to have to a must, right? Like if you know, the majority of protocols at some point have this integrated, like everybody has to do it, because otherwise people are just not going to use it anymore. You know, it just becomes a must.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, but it's really now kind of about the early adopters, and you know, then the growth curve will come. So you say, you know, so one of the hurdles is as you said, that you know, a lot of protocols, they just don't think about it in the beginning. You know, they're probably just super excited to launch. And yeah, then you don't really want to think about cybersecurity, which will probably change. And so are there any other hurdles that you face, like in talking with protocols?
Usually it's about proving that they should think about cybersecurity. So what we have just discussed. Otherwise, it's more like technology questions, like technology-based ones, like, so how does the integration work? So is it that difficult? At first, all technology-based questions, they look like serious and maybe heavy to understand. But like our entire team has everything prepped ahead. So we have guidebooks, we have instructions. If your team is tech savvy, and well, if they're working in crypto, they should be able to develop smart contracts for you. What all we can do is like we give these guidebooks, and just in case, of course, there is a question about the implementation, what is this going to mean for the projects, how does this work in detail, we definitely like jump in, the entire team, our tech members, me as well. I come in and I provide information if it's necessary, and we answer all these questions just to make sure that there are no blind spots left. Because not for the projects, but overall, the biggest problem is exactly that we're at the very early stage of cybersecurity being a priority in DeFi. We are making it like We're giving it more spotlight every day, correct? But projects are yet to understand that this is a box that has to be checked prior to the token's launch, and that it has to be somehow managed and maintained. So it's the dialogue that we are emphasizing right now, that projects in general are supposed to understand that it's not just about them and their funds, it's also about their users that we have to protect here. So that's probably the biggest hurdle. But once we provide them with use cases, and we have them already, like our wallet protection was able to prevent a 55K loss for Gotham. We have Vulcan Forged. We have the Cream Finance hack as well. Although all of them were not core protocol wins, let's say, because it's launching this quarter. But we already show them that there are ways to prevent such things in the first place. And this is what they should be focusing on as well. It's a priority too for a project.
Exactly. Great. Sounds great. Yeah. Do you maybe want to explain a little bit more about the vault protection now that you touched on that?
Oh, yeah. Sure. So in this quarter, we're launching core protocol. So that's the essence of LossLess. That tool which will allow us to prevent hacks for them for them even to happen. But we have two tools more which we've launched pre-core protocol. One of them is Token Minter. So projects that would like to mint their own tokens, they can easily just go to minter.lossless.cash and mint their own tokens in like 1 minute only. That's all that it takes. What it comes with though is that if you mint your tokens on our minter, you get an automatic integration of LossLess core protocol. So you already have our piece of code in your smart contract, and once the core protocol launches, all that security goes up. The other thing is that since we are partners with Hacken, they do audit of your smart contracts too, and they do it at a very discounted price. So if you are looking for a place to mint your tokens, that's the tool for you. As for vault protection, that's a different type of tool, also aimed at projects who have our core protocol already integrated, but it basically serves as an additional layer of security, and it helps to do it in two ways. One is you can whitelist wallets, and that means that you can tell the technology which wallets are supposed to receive money from your, let's say, project funds wallet, and which are like blacklisted, let's say, and they're not supposed to get that money at all, those funds. So you just basically make a list of wallets which are deemed to, it's okay for them to receive money. And the other way is to do a withdrawal limiting. So again, setting an amount of money per transaction per a given period of time. And this is what actually helped Gotham to prevent that hack and save 55K for them.
Great. Amazing. Sounds really good. Excited for the launch.
Same here.
And like, so yeah, you really touched already on the roadmap, for this year. It's really about the launch. And what are really your long-term ambitions? So where are you in 5 to 10 years? I mean, it's really difficult in the crypto space because of course it changes every second, like not even every day. It's like every second. But yeah, like how do you see the future?
I really love when our community says that LossLess is supposed to be the standard that should be integrated by the majority of projects here in crypto. So in my mind, I personally would love us to become such a standard of DeFi. Like you go into a project's website and you see that they're LossLess compliant, and there's this checkbox or something, a symbol that shows that they have the protocol integrated, and it's like it's deemed secure. It has this utmost respect immediately that they take security seriously. So this is for me, but for the entire team, our main goal is to make basically DeFi more secure, because because of all those hacks that are happening, it has gained a reputation where all the FUD comes from, and why people are not adapting and adopting the technology as fast as they could, because of the fear that is being created just because those hacks are happening, and they're happening super fast. There's like multiple numbers of them. Just yesterday we had a loss of 80 million, an exploit was done. So you can just count from the very beginning of this year how many we've already had and how much already of the money has been lost. So our goal as a project is to make DeFi a secure space for an individual, because there's an infrastructure in place that can be used by multiple people. So that's what we're building here. And then, so for me, it's the standard in the industry, but for the entire team, it's making the space safer for the majority of people.
Great. Wow, that sounds fantastic. It's basically just like, it's like, you know, a product has a CE mark, you know, to show, hey, this is a safe product. And basically a protocol should have like a lossless mark, which says, okay, this is safe to use. So yeah, that's a great way to envision it. Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it. And like, so I mean, we already kind of touched on this in the earlier parts, but there's not really another protocol with this approach that I found and that you're aware of. But still, of course, you know, at some point competition is probably going to show up. So what do you really see as like your competitive advantage?
Well, probably because we're, well, first movers. We're the first to rise the question of cybersecurity into the spotlight this much. And of course, the entire, let's say, vision of the tool itself is that the power lies with the community. It's permissionless. So what we're building here is we're building the tool, and you're allowed to use it, and that's it. So there's no like requesting LossLess to implement it somehow, or writing an entire email asking to buy the technology somehow, or no, we're opening up the technology for everybody to use, because it's going to move the entire DeFi industry once it launches. So I'd say that this giving power back to the people, but DeFi is all about that. I mean, you lose all the intermediaries. That's what we're doing here as well. We're just giving you the infrastructure to use. So I think that us bringing the topic of cybersecurity into this bigger light, and for people to better understand why it's a necessity, I think it's a win-win for projects and community as well. Because for projects, we're bringing the topic, like I said, they have to like mark another checkbox prior to their launch, that everything is secure and audited, and they know that it's safe. But from the community's perspective, they can urge their projects that they support and that they invest in, guys, I'd really love to know how you are tackling security. So basically, you're building this narrative, which is both applicable to the projects and to the community. So you could call this education in one word. So this is where I think we're moving, and naturally more projects will follow in cybersecurity. Currently, if you go into CoinMarketCap's cybersecurity category, you'd only see 13 projects listed there, us being included too. So it shows how small this is. But what I love about it is that it's gaining more traction. And I just love that we are part of it and bringing the dialogue forward.
Great. Sounds great. And like, are you hiring for any positions? Like, let's say, you know, software developers watching, or a business developer, or like, are you hiring for these type of positions?
Currently, our team is full, but of course, the technology part is definitely planned to be expanded. We don't have a spot yet, like a job description or anything. But if it comes to that we need to fill in a place and we need a proper specialist, we will let definitely the entire community know that we're hiring and we need a person for the job. For now, there are unfortunately no open spaces, but of course we're going to grow and those opportunities will open up.
Great, sounds good. And like, how do you see the crypto industry? Like, what, like, you know, let's say you could sketch like a day in your life, you know, 10 years from now, just thinking about crypto. Like, Like, how do you see it? Like what is so exciting for you about it?
For me, it's I mentioned already a few times before, but it's about people having the power back to them, basically, but having it with the responsibility. I've recently participated in a podcast as well where I talked about this, that DeFi means that yes, you have the power, but you are also supposed to be very well informed. You have to understand what you're doing here. You have to understand the chain of actions that you need to take to make a transaction reach different chains and everything. So everything, both the power and the responsibility lies with you. So what I'm hoping, of course, is because we are only in the primary years of DeFi, what I'm hoping is that it, of course, is going to be more convenient. Right now, it's not at that part yet, but just for the sake of more people entering the space and more people using it, I really hope that it's going to be more comfortable to use. We already have a few apps and everything, but it's more to the centralized part anyway. So that's one of my hopes as well. But the main thing that I really wish to see in a couple of years' time is people understanding the benefits and people understanding what this technology is actually about, because we're still, like I said, in the early days. When you talk with your be it same age group people or somebody from your workplace, not in crypto, but like in corporate companies and such, they are so fearful of this technology, and it all comes from not understanding. It's like you say crypto and everybody shivers in the room, like, oh, it's because it's so mystified and it's so full of legends and everything, just because somebody said something without knowing. So I really love to see two things: more convenience for the user and more adjustment of the narrative, so that the majority of people would understand what this is actually about. So I'm hoping less FUD and more users in the space, which they're already growing anyway, but in a faster pace.
Exactly. Great. Yeah, like so far, I think it's growing faster than the internet. And it's really not gonna stop, right? Like it's gonna continue much quicker. And yeah, I think a lot of people are just completely underestimating where this world is going to be in 2030. It's super exciting. So great.
It could be,
yeah, please.
I just wanted to add that it could be that people they fail to grasp the technology in this like 5 or 10 years time, because everything is happening so fast now. You can't really envision that far away. But like I said, I really hope that with what we're seeing, with the growth and everything, it's definitely going to become a reality.
Great. Sounds good. And where can everybody find more about you, about the protocol, like Twitter, Discord?
Yeah, we have so many places to find info, but just to keep a few main spots to get info. So we, of course, have our own website, lossless.cash. And in there, you will find everything about Lossless in this constructive and short manner, just the main points. There's the white paper inside, of course, available if anybody would like to go into more detail on how the technology works. You can find us on Twitter, LossLess DeFi, one word. And you, of course, can go to our Telegram and find it over there, LossLess Cash. Our community always accepts new members and await you to join. I myself, like, I'm sitting every day there talking with our community, both on Discord and on Telegram as well. If there are any questions, I always jump in to answer. So really hoping to see you there, guys. And naturally, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me personally. I really love, like I mentioned in the very beginning, to speak with the community and to get their thoughts on what Lossless should maybe do, or what is Lossless and what else you'd like to know. So these are probably the 3 best places to learn about us more.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. I think this was super helpful, for everybody. Like, we really touched on a lot of topics. So yeah, really exciting about the future, and yeah, maybe, let's see, maybe 1 year from now we can do this again. And I'm sure that
Of course.
LossLess will be in a place we both cannot imagine right now. So super
A
exciting.
Standard of the industry.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a pleasure to be here and to share everything about LossLess.
For sure. Thank you.